Welcome, everybody, to yet another goddamn horror podcast. I am one of your hosts. I am Ryan Danley, coming to you from a sunny, 74-degree day. I know that because I now have a smartwatch because I got some for my health.
Oh,
and but I'm taking care of myself, so I have.
I'm happy about it.
A monitor and stuff like that. So
it's great.
Yeah, I used to just judge my week and how many roast beef sandwiches I had. Like if this was a 7 roast beef sandwich week, it was healthy. You know what I mean?
That was a roast beef watch.
Anything over 14. Anyways, how's Brooklyn, y'all?
It's good on this side. It's over in Bushwick. It was nice today. It was a good day today. I had to work in the financial district today, and I thought it was going to be dog shit because it's a financial district. But no, it was a good day today. Good day overall.
It was pretty nice out. I was out all day, walking around listening to ska because it's the summer of ska.
Guys, Ryan
just sprung it on us last week.
I decided that it's the summer of ska. That's just it. It's just going to be upbeat.
So yeah, I famously kind of I don't hate ska, but I've always kind of been I'm just not into it. And then Ryan pointed out a lot of the stuff I listen to has a lot of influence. I was like, yeah, I know. I like some stuff. I like Op Ivy. But so now I'm going to actually try to listen to some ska and get into it. And just real quick, the thing you sent me, Jaya the Cat, it wasn't really. It was too Bostonian and it had oi shit to it that I just didn't. But Sonic Boom 6, fuck yes.
Yeah, but you know why?
Yeah,
because they're from Manchester, and Manchester is just. I mean, seriously, it's just the home of everything.
It was all over the place, and it was fucking great. I love that. So yeah.
Listen, I just want to interject here. I'm happy that you guys are doing the summer of ska because I can just go fuck myself. So that's great.
I already fired you off the podcast last week. But we'll talk about that later. Cool. Anyways, good. Graham, do you want to introduce our really wicked rad guests?
I do. Today, we have Sophia Cacciola and Michael J. Epstein, who are the directors and I believe producers and everything. They created this project called Once and Future Smash and another movie called Endzone 2. And immediately that I'm like, oh shit, what is this about? I love that kind of thing. And I'll get into that later. But I ended up watching this because I was like, So I ended up watching this. I fucking loved it. And then I sent it to you guys. And it's fucking hysterical and it's wonderful. And thank you both so much for being here and giving us a glimpse of your whole movie and everything. And tell us a little bit about yourselves, I guess.
Thanks. Yeah. Just to interject on the summer ska, did you see Renfield?
I haven't actually.
There's some ska in Renfield. They could have taken it a lot further, honestly.
Okay,
cool. It was acceptable ska. I will give it that. That was acceptable ska.
Do you guys real quick? All right, do you like ska at all?
I'm with you. I never could get into it. That whole upbeat thing. I like the Clash, but I don't like ska. I don't
exactly.
know.
Yeah.
I grew up really liking the two-tone stuff, and then I love Op Ivy and kind of that era stuff as well.
Sure.
I started to kind of trail off on the mustard plug Less Than Jake end of things when it got Real Big Fish. Though I've seen I saw all those bands on Warped Tour in the 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. There's a lot of different ska could be a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
It is, yeah. All right, cool. Anyway, on to the awesome movie.
I had to interject, but yeah,
no, please.
Yeah.
I'll talk about ska. I'm actually over here. Like when you said ska can be a lot of different things. Like I was about to launch into an hour-long conversation about that. When you said that you like the Clash, but you don't like, I was about to the Clash recorded that at Lee Scratch Perry's Black Ark studio.
Move on.
Anyways, we can talk about this all day.
A whole summer.
So many episodes to talk about ska, for fuck's sake, Ryan.
I'm good.
Anyway, tell us about the movie and the concept of the two movies.
Take it
You wanna
away.
talk about it?
Michael. I always make him talk about it.
All right. The Once and Future Smash is it's a mockumentary about these two guys who play the same slasher character named Smash Mouth in the 1970 kind of football themed slasher movie Endzone 2. And in Once and Future Smash, we kind of follow what's going on with them 50 years later, as there is going to be a remake, reboot, reimagining something of the Endzone series. And then the film also contains a lot of kind of horror celebrity, semi-celebrity talking heads discussing their relationship with the Endzone series. So it's kind of like a dual thing, the story of the two guys and then kind of the history of Endzone. So, and then, then we've been lucky enough to provide the quote unquote restoration of Endzone 2 along with the film.
Just the first hour, right?
Just the first hour, which is part of the story.
Yeah.
And so, we've been doing that kind of as a double feature at a lot of festivals and taking it around. And currently it's sort of getting to the end of the festival run, and it'll be
in the summer. We've got some stuff lined up.
Yeah, we're looking at releasing it in the fall or sometime. So we're working
awesome. Well, like I was saying before, I really like interesting like rollouts of movies, just like when you have to see, like last year I saw was it the third Saturday in October, part 5, and the third Saturday in October, and it said, you're supposed to watch the 5th one first and then the first one, and there's no 2, 3, or 4, and right away I'm fucking fully interested in this just on that concept alone. Right. And this was very similar because honestly, I saw the Once and Future Smash and I thought that seems cool. And I didn't even really understand that it was Endzone 2 was part of it. And then the more I read and looked into it, I thought Endzone 2 was a real movie for a little bit. So it reminds me of like Blair Witch Project style, like promotion and stuff like that. And Third Saturday. And this is just another really fucking cool way to do it. And immediately got me all in.
Thanks. Yeah. Before our premiere, because apparently it was very easy to put whatever date we wanted on IMDb. And that's really
I love it.
Convinced people. And so especially before it had premiered, like all the journalism and stuff that we'd gotten was like fully invested. Like, why haven't I heard of this?
Yeah, I love that. And we had reviewers who saw both movies, and they said, they thought it was a 1970 movie, and they weren't sure. They were sort of asking us like, well, okay, so are these really the two guys who played the character, or is it like you've done a dramatization of that? Like, what's the actual thing? And so for a while we were being cagey about it, but I think eventually enough. Most of the current reviews, the recent ones, it's like 90% of the first section of it is just constantly saying how we made both movies and it's fake and we're tricking everyone. Something. So we're like, fine.
They bamboozled us.
Yeah, it got me for a little while, and that's all it takes. You get me for a second.
I think that we were trying to.
It absolutely, 100%, and that's what I love. I love these experiences, like just going to fests like this and seeing movies virtually is such a cool new way to like experience movies, and I've gotten way into a lot more because of it. So like every time there's a new way to sort of intake, I'm all about it.
I want to mention something really quick off the top because I kind of just want to get it out of the way so that we can kind of put this on the table. Honestly, just because I think it's a comparison that I think will come up, but it's a good comparison. So it for sure gave me like Behind the Mask vibes, like in the best way, like because it kind of had like, I wouldn't even say it's necessarily tonally the same, but conceptually it's kind of like in that direction. But you guys interjected more humor into it, and which it's I love.
Fucking hysterical.
Yeah, the humor in it is fucking great. Like, and also when it comes to horror and comedy, obviously like Strange Bedfellows, they go together really well. But the way that y'all interjected the humor into it, even with the interviews, like the interviews with the horror people, like, and stuff like that, it was hitting left and right. Was there any Behind the Mask influence on that or anything like that, or was this something you guys just came up with?
I mean, I like Behind the Mask. I think it's a great film. We definitely love the like Christopher Guest mockumentaries. I mean, I think mockumentary is an interesting form because there's not there's shockingly few mockumentaries somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a type of film that you would think there'd be more, but I think it's sort of hard to pull off something that works. And we just kind of wanted to tell this story. We were interested in the story of people feuding at conventions because we had heard I'll give you a little if you're up for a little background. For
Oh,
how
please.
it came together.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Lay it on us.
So our other producer, this guy Neil Jones, has a podcast called Without Your Head, and on that podcast he's done interviews for like 20 years, and he's interviewed just about every kind of horror person. So I just chat with him all the time, and at one point he said, this guy, I won't name specific names, but the two guys happen to be in our movie as both of them, so you can maybe figure it out. But he was like, this guy is complaining to me because I have this other guy on my show next week, and they both play the same character, and they have like kind of a dispute about who like really played the character. Sure. And we had already been kind of fascinated by convention culture. It's really an interesting thing. We're not really big on conventions just because it's crowds and whatever else. Mm-hmm. I don't really love that experience. But
I'm kind of the same.
Yeah. But it's so fascinating that like actors or directors who had done something like 30, 40, 50 years ago and didn't really have a career after that are suddenly being like really praised and honored. And like there are people, buying autographs and really excited to meet them. And there are a lot of younger filmmakers who are putting those people into movies now. And so we thought this is a really ripe area for exploration. This is a really fascinating area. And when Neil had brought up the two guys who were feuding, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I would love to make a movie about like two guys who don't really have a career. There's really nothing to feud about, more or less. But they kind of have this feud because it's the only thing in their lives that really like speaks to them or that they've accomplished. And Neil just sort of said like, I could reach out to Mad Monster and see if they'd let us, film there and do that. And they came back right away and said like that we could do it. And then I said to Neil, look, if we're going to do this, we would need your help to get these people to do interviews to be part of this. And so he agreed to do that. And so that's kind of how it came together. But yeah, I mean, we just love the form of a mockumentary, and we thought this is a really funny story to tell. These two kind of guys squabbling about nothing, essentially, and and then we started really looking at all the kind of horror documentary, mockumentary, hoax kind of different things, and there are some interesting ones out there. I had not seen what's the marrow?
Digging up the marrow.
Digging up the marrow.
Digging up the
Adam
marrow.
Green one, yeah. Until after we kind of started with this, but we watched that and we're like, oh, this is kind of in the realm of what we're working with too. I had seen Behind the Mask, but then we just sort of combined everything, the comedy stuff, the horror stuff, and sort of brought it all together and thought about it. And we wanted to create, like you say, we wanted to create an experience rather than just being like, here's a movie, watch it. We thought it'd be more fun to create an experience around it. So you're like, is this a real thing? Because we all love like discovering something new. You know about something that nobody knows about. And you're like, I want to share this with other people. And so we thought like, what if there was this movie that only these kind of elite people knew about?
Right.
And it's like all the actors kind of like knew about this movie, but none of the audience kind of people knew about
right.
it. Like influential to the creators, but not to really anybody else. So
we got to talk about the list of people that you ended up with
in
this movie. This is I'm going to be honest with you. Like, this is kind of like a horror movie fan's horror movie, because
that has no horror in it.
But so because there's so much like nuance in like what the actors are talking about. Like you have like Victor Miller talking about the author. Well, because it's the author, like a little jab at Cunningham's Friday the 13th battle. You know what I mean? Like it's so like that's like, I mean, like that's like real inside baseball stuff. And there was like two or three of those that were just like beautiful, like little so you got the Toxic Avenger there. You got like I mean, anyways, the movie is just like it's just so absolutely like fantastic as servicing horror fans. You know what I mean? And I'm actually somebody who loves cons. I think like like honestly, if they had cons when I was a kid, I probably would have been way more adjusted. But you know what I mean? Like I would have been able to go someplace where people liked something that I did, not reading Fangoria by myself and crying. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. But maybe. But it's but just like the amount of people that agreed to do that, and also in these interviews, like the amount of people that you got to agree to these interviews that came in and did 100%, because the interviews are like very like I can see why you would be fooled because the interviews are very convincing. So, how fun was that? You know,
it was awesome. And we did the interviews. So we kind of got a little side railed by the pandemic because we shot the convention stuff in February 2020. And so we didn't get back to doing like the interviews until like 2021.
It was like when the vaccines were good and the cases were low and everything was sort of
so it was such a long period, and we had this long rough cut of the convention. And then so we didn't even really know like how realistic the interviews would be, and so we had shot like other skit stuff, and so then like the tone was kind of all over the place for us when we saw those interviews and how like believable they were. So then we tried to go back and like change the tone a little bit more to like make it more realistic. So it was very funny. But yeah, when we did that first set of interviews, so like basically everybody leapt off a cliff with us that agreed to do it because they obviously hadn't seen the movie and they didn't know if they were endorsing what they were endorsing.
Right. So I was going to ask who was the hardest one to convince to make fun of themselves?
We had no trouble. So some people said no.
Yeah, when they were in the room, and we had sent them like what, because we thought about their careers and like we had written some jokes for them and we sent it to them ahead of time. So like, and we let, if there's anything like Victor Miller didn't want to say certain things, like so like if there's anything that made them uncomfortable, I'm like, whatever, whatever we get is gonna be great, we definitely let people like have their own comfort.
That's cool. That's probably what helped it come off so believable.
They really were. I think it really speaks to Neil also, because Neil had known all these people through interviews and everything, and so they were willing. Neil reached out to them and they were like, oh cool, like if you're doing this, we trust you, we believe that this is going to be fun. And like we try to explain context to them, but they have no idea, they're just given lines, they have no idea like what any of the stuff means. They don't and
we try to explain like we're not making fun of you or your career at all, we're trying to celebrate it in our own way. Humor, but we're big fans, so it's not like we ever want to like have it be disparaging in any way.
I don't think it made fun of like anybody specific. I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny when they're like, like basically Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 is a ripoff. I'm like this is really funny stuff.
One of my favorite lines, I think, and I forget who said it. They were like, oh yeah, everybody like it was an influence for like everybody loved it, like Hooper and Carpenter and Wes and well, maybe not Wes.
I think that was Dan Yeager did that one. I think
so good.
Was there anybody that you guys got that you were shocked that you were able to get for the interviews? Because like I have one in my head, but I'm curious what you guys.
I think pretty much all of them. I'm shocked that
I know. Mark Patton was like the first one we did, and basically Neil had asked him, and he was like, "If they pick us up,"
because he lives in Mexico. First of all, Mark lives in Mexico. He happened to be in LA. He was coming to LA that week, so we're like, Neil, reach out to Mark and see if he'll do this.
Yeah, and he was like, "If they pick me up at the LAX at the airport, I'll do it."
Rad!
We met him at the international terminal and drove him, and then he came and did it, and he was so great. But that
Mark was the surprise.
Path.
That was the one that surprised me. Was Mark?
He was so great too. He was really fun.
Nightmare 2 was like the first horror, like really real like horror, like R-rated horror movie that I saw ever. So
that's amazing.
It was pretty special. It was pretty great to get him.
I bet.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be having so much fun with it too.
Yeah.
So like,
he was one of the ones that was like the most convincing as far as like when you watched his interview segments, like his pieces, his were the ones that like really initially caught my eye. Like, oh, he fucking believes this. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's
a good actor. He was putting it on.
Like, good for him. That's awesome. I love
So
it.
did you guys were you both like come up with horror and like were you like walking video stores at one point and like and that's how this is accumulated into this or
I used to rent everything that said Roger Corman on it. So it's big like
yes.
2000 fan. I loved the stuff. Which was like just a random find on TV one day, but then I was obsessed with it forever. Yeah. Alien, like I love sci-fi especially.
Right.
So I mean, like I don't get to explore that as much because it gets harder to do that at an indie level, but I love sci-fi. So all that kind of stuff growing up.
Yeah, and I like my best friend growing up, we would just like ride our bikes to the video store pretty much every day, and we would look for the weirdest, like most scary or gross looking thing we could find. It's like that was always the goal. It's like find the strangest thing that you can find at the video store. And
it's so cool to know that like kids in every small town were doing that because that's what me and my like get the weirdest one, man.
Just get the
absolutely
weird.
And I'll tell you, I actually think we should start a gang of stuff fans. Like I mean, like because like to me the stuff is like when I think of like 80s 90s VHS video store culture, I think of the stuff. It's like the first one that I go to. I've rented it a million times as a kid because
I have a shirt.
I was always a stuff guy, and like
I love that.
I mean the stuff.
I just love like it's like environmental horror. It's anti-corporate. It's like all about the little kid is right. Like it just has like, so many good things going on.
100%.
You don't even give it credit for like on the first like when you're a kid, you're just like, oh cool, like the weird fluff stuff. But like
the
rewatch
there's a lot going on.
100%. It's so good.
I'm telling you, 80s, 90s, the kids were right. We've had a whole episode about it. Like the kids were alone. The kids were left alone, and then when
fighting
they would
monsters all the time,
and fighting like I remember like Cloak and Dagger, like mom died, and Dabney Coleman, who was a treasure by the way, but like Dabney Coleman was out. I mean, if he's not a ska guy, but he's cool. He was out doing stuff, and the kid was alone, and he had to fight Russian terrorists. You know what I mean? So we're talking about like. The kids got to be right. You know what I mean? And
so I have a question for you, Sophia. Since you're a Roger Corman fan, did you ever get to track down the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie and see it?
I feel like I've seen like the trailer, right? That's like on YouTube. Yeah,
I've seen the movie. Yeah, I've seen it, and we watched Doomed. I think we watched the doc about it.
There's a documentary.
I growing up. So now this is talking about conventions. Actually, I used to go to comic book conventions, especially growing up. And also there was a sci-fi convention. I grew up in Long Island in New York, and there was a convention called Icon that happened every year there. And I would go there and buy like the bootleg videos, and the Fantastic Four movie was always like, a hot bootleg video there that you could pick up. So I had a bootleg copy of the Fantastic Four movie like in the mid 90s, or something.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sophia, if you have not seen it, fucking track it down.
I've definitely seen pieces of it, probably from the doc. Yeah.
Oh, it is a proper piece of shit. Yeah, it's great. It is great.
Oh, Mr. Corman. Well, so how's the festival circuit been going? You've been we've ended up with a lot of people from the festivals, and boy, is it a cool thing that's going on, and we're hoping more people get interested in this because it's such a showcase of like great movies and fun stuff, and like what I mean, like and giving us almost like I don't want to say movie making is DIY, but like because of all the things that go involved in it, but giving like more independent filmmakers a stage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how has that been going for you?
Good. It's kind of like the only reward that you get after filmmaking. Like, finally you get to sit and watch it with some people that might like it. So we premiered at Fright Fest, which was awesome because it's in London. And it's like a big genre fest, and so that was like really great. And so we were able to go to that. We recently were at Panic Fest, which is where we met the Third Saturday guys, and so we bonded with them about how weirdly similar our movies are. And now we're buddies.
We love their movies.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's one of the places where we like get to network and geek out with like other people. So it's definitely always fun for us.
It's also like a test screening for us, honestly, because we you make this movie and you're like, does this movie work? Does anybody like this? Will anybody like this? And then you sit down in a room with people and you get to like hear the live reaction to it and see. And we know like which jokes work, which jokes don't work, all that kind of stuff. And in fact, the LA screening was great because it was at Scream Fest, which is a fun festival here. And many of the talking head people came to that screening, so they had not seen the movie. In fact, we didn't share the movie with any of the actors or anything like that either.
Actors to watch it in a theater environment if we can,
because
then they're not like examining their own performance,
right.
And then they hear the audience laughing and reacting, and they feel like, oh yeah, I've done something good. But we were very nervous about having all those people come because we didn't want them. If they hated it, it would be very upsetting for us, really. So we were very happy. They all came. They all really enjoyed it. They were all, reaching out the next day, being like, "Put me in more stuff. Let's do more stuff together." So it's
that's rad.
It was very, very nice, and that it really only exists, because of festivals that were able to kind of have these theatrical screenings in different cities and do that. So that's really nice. Yeah.
Are you guys?
You don't want a John Cusack thing. where didn't he famously watch My Crazy Summer or One Crazy Summer and just walk out and be like, fuck you? It was either that or Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
I think it was Better Off Dead. Yeah, he fucking hated it. And he only did the Crazy Summer one because he was contractually obligated or something.
See, you could either get that reaction or you could get the Shia LaBeouf reaction where he watched 8 of his movies in a row in a theater and just clapped the whole time. He's just like, I am the shit. This is an amazing movie. Are you guys planning on doing are you guys going to roll out premieres when you guys do this in the fall, or are you going to do it like a traditional release on either streamers or something like that? But are you guys going to do live premieres?
Some indie theaters have reached out to us. So we might do a few small screenings in different cities. But primarily we're probably going to do a Blu-ray pre-sale because we have so much extra footage.
Yeah.
Cool.
Neil shot the whole time we were filming Endzone 2 just on a camcorder. And then we have so much that hit the cutting room floor. Even whole sections. We had a whole section on the music and the folk songs in Endzone 2 that just we couldn't find a place for it in the cut, And so there's a 10-minute little mini doc on the music that already exists. So there's just so much bonus features and stuff that I think, it kind of deserves a Blu-ray, maybe a double Blu-ray if that's how it works out between the two movies.
Sweet.
Sure. But that's kind of our plan is do a pre-sale and then do the streamers.
It would kind of be a dream to do a tour with it and do live events, but it's probably just going to be cost prohibitive to do. But we may have some theaters. We've had theaters reaching out, and we may go back and reach out to them and say, let's see if we can set something up. Maybe we can do a Zoom Q&A or something if we can't actually travel to be part of it. But yeah, I honestly watching it in a theater. I'm sure everybody says this, but seeing the movie in a theater when it's sort of a comedy and when it's kind of a theatery, because we're talking about kind of classic film, so it's has a sort of a movie theater, I don't know, element to it that's nice, and I think that experience really is fun for people. And it's sort of, I know you all saw it at home, but I think it does enhance it to be in a room full of people.
It does.
Sure. The type too, because even you're saying, there's a lot of niche jokes. When I hear one person laugh at the Victor Miller thing, or the guys arguing over who did the best Friday movie, when certain people will laugh at those things, but it'll be one or two people. I'm yeah, they're happy, so I'm happy.
Well, cool. So I'm just saying, if you guys end up wanting to do a New York premiere, just wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We know a lot of people with a lot of theaters and stuff. So
we know some people.
Yeah. Especially if you guys are doing a Blu-ray release, because there's also some places that very specifically to New York that would probably absolutely love that. So just a hint.
We also have cool places in Portland too. Okay,
Portland literally is a cool place.
Yeah. So Portland is cool.
Portland is just a giant indie theater of a town.
Yeah, right, but it really is.
With all the festivals you go to, do you get to see a lot of the other movies?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any favorites from this past year, or since you've been hitting it with Once and Future and Endzone?
We saw A Wounded Fawn at it's kind of a bigger indie, but I loved it. 16 millimeter. It's just so gorgeous. It's on Shudder now, I believe.
It's literally I think
Ryan and I geeked out about it last week because
Actually,
we did the
haunting.
Fangoria Awards.
Yeah.
We did our choices of the Fangoria Awards, and that's featured in there. And I just tell everybody, like, it's not like you think it sounds like A24 or something like that, and it's gonna be like a little taste of that, but it's not. And like, you can go for it, but just watch The Wounded Fawn just for the end credits scenes, because which I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but all I'll ever say is I really only hope they had to shoot that once, because that looks like a lot of work. And but Wounded Fawn, fantastic.
Yeah. We actually love seeing the third Saturday. We actually only got to see third Saturday part 5 at Panic Fest, and then we came home and watched part 1 after. But
Nice.
but that was really fun. Same thing where I think that's that lends itself to a theater experience with the group of people really nicely. Speaking of the I'm gonna out Sophia, but if you watch the Fangoria Awards and you thought it was in focus, it was because Sophia was pulling focus on the.
Oh, no kidding!
Nice.
Oh,
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, good for you.
It rules.
So she worked on that.
Yeah, I knew, like, because it was not live as they claim. So I knew
Right.
for a
Right.
while
No,
who all
no,
the winners
yeah.
were.
I think we all
Yeah.
knew it wasn't live.
Yeah.
But
Pretend
no,
live.
it was
Yeah.
super fun. Like, my wife and I get super into them just because we hate other award shows except ours.
Right.
Another goddamn horror podcast has the Danzigs,
Yeah.
which are legit, but
Which are horror awards,
but most awards are trash. But my wife and I get real excited about the Chainsaw Awards, and we get popcorn and everything.
I was impressed they got Jordan Peele to accept. Because
Yeah.
That was cool. That was super cool.
When we were shooting, I was like, "There's no way he's sending a video."
That's right.
But also, like,
I was excited. Yeah.
his acceptance speech was hilarious too, because he's just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you people?" Like,
Yeah.
This is
So
a
good.
murder victim.
Yeah.
If you
right
ever-
after watching it, I reached out to Puddin Biatch like right away.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw her.
With,
I thought you were
doing
going to say
the
you
skit
reached
with
out to
Megan.
Jordan Peele.
She's dressed
ahead
as
of Jordan.
Megan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Such a good little skit. Yeah.
I have actually responded with Jordan Peele's people, and it's a
That's
flat
true.
no. Hey, I'm not afraid. Like, you know what I mean?
Fucking
Like,
try,
you never know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We've had like Lucian Graves and, like, Kyle Kinane and
Brian Usna.
Brian
Oh,
Usna.
yeah,
We've had
Usna,
great.
yeah.
We've had Usna. Yeah.
Listen, we had Peaches Christ on the show.
Yeah,
And,
we
like,
had
Peaches
Peaches.
was
Yeah.
one of the fucking co-hosts. So like,
and now we have the Enzo 2 people. So, like, we're fucking
Goddamn right.
killing it.
That's right. That's right.
No, but for real, like, this is where the rubber hits the road with art, and we appreciate it so much. And we have to talk about the full frontal nudity. You said you had some interesting stories about it, and I can only imagine. So,
Well, believe it or not, Bill Whedon, who plays is it William? Yeah, I was like, does he play Bill in the movie? No, he plays William. Sorry. He came to us at one point and he was like, "I want to be full frontal nude in the movie." And,
Yeah,
and he
so
was
it was scripted just as him kind of like flexing in the mirror, and he said, "Can I be fully nude in that scene? Would that be okay?" So.
And I was like, "Sure, whatever you want, Bill. Sounds good to me. I'm never going to turn down nudity.
Right.
I'm all for it. Let's go."
right.
But I wasn't made aware in the moment that was going to happen. And so I was filming him like this in the mirror, flexing and doing his dance and stuff. And we get the shot. And Michael was like, "Sophia," he's like, we're in a hotel room. He's like sitting across from me. He's like, "You got it?" And I'm like, yeah, we're good. We can move on. And
Well, then I was like, I don't think you got it, because I kind of saw what her shot was. I'm like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Are you sure you got it?" Because I don't think you did. Because I don't think you were looking at what was going on.
I was so fixed on the screen on the camera that I hadn't looked down. And so then he's like, "Are you sure you got it?" I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I walked away. And then I turned around and I was like, "Oh, I didn't get it."
You're like, oh, this is a wider angle shot.
Go a little wider. Back up.
Take two.
So we did have to do a couple takes of that, but it was really funny because like I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Talk
But
about
Bill-
getting 100% out of an actor. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's not even called for.
No, he's
Above
great.
and beyond.
Bill's great, and he just wanted to.
Yeah.
He just wanted to do it.
A bucket list item for
And
him.
Sure.
he it it's nice because it shocks people. It's like something that people don't expect.
Yeah.
And it's always nice when you have a movie, you know, a feature, especially to have little moments that are like big wake up moments. Like if you're, in case you're like, you're getting comfortable, you're kind of like, oh yeah, this is all right. This is funny. But then you have a big moment that's like, kind of like, oh, okay, now I'm splashed with cold water. I'm paying attention again to what's happening.
Well, and this is something to say about like movies in general. It is very rare that there is like male full frontal nudity. And also it's even more rare for an actor to come up and be like, no, I want to hang meat in this scene. You know what I mean? They don't just walk up and present that most of the time. Like it's
And I'll be honest with you, it gives the movie some gravity. I mean, it really does. I mean, like he was right. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, because it kind of shows him in like a little bit of a different, I like it, not just because he's naked, but because like it's just a more serious behavior. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's so it gives it some like you said, like somehow
it adds to it.
His umph, you know.
Yeah.
That's always the challenge. I mean, when writing this, the big challenges were like, look, it's first and foremost, it's sort of a comedy. But, you know, we need to have it so you have some feeling about the characters, and then maybe there's some character arc and some heart in it. So we try to make sure that's included in it. And even with the comedy, you know, with the niche elements, we're like, how much can we get away with it? We don't want it to be just all like inside jokes for kind of like super horror nerds. So we tried to find some kind of balance where like an average person could watch it and get some of the jokes. And I can't comment on whether it works or not, but I've been surprised overall. We've had people who have seen it who know nothing about horror, don't know who anybody is. You know, they just know from the Chiron who the people are. And the response has been pretty good from those people too. So I was shocked, I think, you know, that it was, because when we made it, we're like, this is a movie for 10 people.
Enough, like people have enough convention experience with like Star Trek or whatever.
Sure.
They get it.
Well, and
it
seems like you gave enough, especially with making the actual movie and presenting the way you did. You gave enough for all that sort of craziness and like, why is it like you reeled it in? Well, here it is it's tightly packaged. When you say it out loud, it's all over the place.
Right.
But here it is, and it's really cool.
Yeah, but those are the kind of challenges, you know, when you're creating the thing. It's like, how do we find, you know, and I'm not saying whether we succeeded or not in any of these areas, but it's sort of like that's the goal, is always to balance all those things. It's like a puzzle to kind of like get
very closely. We usually edit our own stuff, but on this one we had a friend of ours edit it, Aaron Brocus, and he actually wanted to cut that scene. He was like, it's too much, and we're like, no, you gotta keep it. And then Bill was messaging him off on his own side, telling him to keep it.
Yeah,
like, so considerate.
What's his line?
Like, you better keep that in there.
What was Bill saying to him? He was like, you can cut the song, but keep the dong.
Keep the dong.
Hilarious.
He sings his little song, his little one. So he's like, it's okay if you cut the song, but you got to keep the dong. He would send the editor that message.
Amazing.
On his own, like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, probably weeks later, and I'm like, I keep getting messages.
Aaron's like, oh, Bill's messaging me all the time with this, and I'm like, no, it's fine.
So back and forth between what he thought was funny and what we thought was funny, and like we fought to keep that in there for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was gonna stay.
Yeah.
So when I was in junior high school, we had these racing wooden cars that you put CO2 cartridges in, and they went down the thing in tech and what's the name of the class? So like shop. And I decided I wanted to carve mine. Everybody else was just doing theirs in like sports car-y sort of things, and I decided to carve mine in so like it had a helmet and it had like hands holding out the bottom thing, so it kind of looked like science fiction-y. And halfway through it, I'm like, holy shit, did you just bit off way more than you can chew? You all made 2 movies.
Man.
Like one movie hard, you know what I mean, like a challenging, like most people would be happy making one movies. You go in with like, I'm gonna make the original movie, which is I'm gonna make a movie. I mean, we've talked a lot about the mockumentary, but that you actually made a movie for the mockumentary, which is legitimately a movie. So did you ever say to yourself halfway through, you're like, wow, this is like Ryan's little race car? Did you?
We said to ourselves. No, I mean, we always are trying to challenge ourselves, and like the more outrageous a project can be, the more excited it makes us.
Sure.
So
I think the original idea too was to do just the clips that would be in Smash. So we're like, we don't need to make a movie. We'll just make the clips of that. So we'll shoot 5 or 10 minutes of clips and put those into the movie. And then we kind of realized we're like, by the time you figure out a costume and get actors and do all this stuff, you may as well just make the whole movie. You may as well just do the whole thing.
Benefit analysis.
Yeah. and it's a more exciting thing because we've created the whole world that way. The world exists.
Yeah.
And of course there's lots of mythology about other films. So people are always asking us are you going to make Endzone 1? Are you going to make Endzone 3D? Are you going to do, so not right now. We have no plans to do those things, but creating a cinematic universe of Endzone felt like a fun thing to try to do, even though it also felt very stupid the whole time.
No, I want to see the Italian version. That shit. Yeah, when they just fucking rename it, just
that's like a takeoff a house, though, right? Because
it's kind of based on the La Casa series, and Zombie. I mean, there's a lot of different ones, but definitely La Casa is one of the big ones that. Because for whatever reason, the House series, they just started calling random movies House 3 and House 4, and you know what I mean. And so it's So that's So
it would be so funny if you guys just decided to just say fuck the tropes and just start throwing out random ones like Endzone versus zombies, Endzone in space. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's and out of fucking nowhere, no connection, just aside from having Smash Mouth in it, just be this is Endzone, Endzone versus vampires. Fuck it, let's do it.
So if somebody's got the money, we'll do it. That's
Hell yeah.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. Do you think you can handle our Sinister Six questions? Do you think?
I don't know.
You think?
We'll find out.
I think
they can.
I think they're going to do a pretty good job.
I feel like they're going to do solid.
I got to find them. All right, here we go. First one. We'll go Sophia. Freddy or Jason?
Jason.
Wow.
All
Do
right.
I don't think that Freddy says bitch. It's just a trigger word for me.
Sure.
I hear you.
I mean, he's a pretty shitty person. I mean, it's not even just the B word. It's also the murdering of children.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's not good.
That's not as important to Sophia.
He's a full.
It's better movies. The movies are better. But Jason. Yeah, I'll take Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go with Jason because I just think he's got a cool mask. I just think he's cooler with being the dark and hulking brute force that's kind of sci-fi or supernatural. Freddy's fine. He talks too much, I think. I don't know.
Michael, what do you think?
He talks mad shit.
He does. It's pretty good.
Michael, what do you think?
I'm a way bigger Nightmare on Elm Street fan than Friday the 13th. So, partly I said Nightmare 2 was my first R-rated movie, so that definitely stuck with me. I feel like every Nightmare movie does kind of a different thing, and so it's always kind of fun to see where they take it. And I enjoy all the sequels. I controversially, I think I enjoy every Nightmare movie, even 6 and everything. I do not enjoy the remake, so let's not talk about that. But but everything else I like. Fridays, I feel like a lot of them are kind of too samey. I like them okay, but they get samey, and then I tend to like the ones that are weird. I really like Friday 5 and Jason Goes to Hell because it's they're just throwing some crazy thing out there and doing Friday 5. I always say, all those movies have one comic relief character, except for Friday 5, where every character is a comic relief character.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know. That speaks to me because I'm what are they doing with this? Who decided that these people belong in this movie?
Right, exactly.
I don't know.
5 has my favorite kill too.
Oh yeah,
which is the leather strap around his eyes and like the twisting. For whatever reason, like I mean, like I love the head smash and X. I love the like I love of course the sleeping bag kill, and I love all of those. And of course, I mean the corkscrew and Shetty, dynamic duo is fantastic. But something about that leather strap around the tree just being twisted, and that there's just like something like so like viscerally real about that like
it's gnarly.
It's like everything else is just like absurd. That one is like a little like like that one like like.
Well, I was just
gonna say Jason, but if you ask like which movie or which franchise is better, I would say Friday or not Nightmare, and Nightmare 3 is probably the best out of any of them. But my favorite out of Jason is definitely 8 when he goes to Manhattan.
That's the gold standard.
Yeah.
That's the gold standard of like a movie that is like, that's a piece of shit movie, but then when you sit back and watch it, you're like, the dude fought rapists, like he killed rapists,
and cops.
It
showed solidarity with the punks. It's got my favorite.
They are of New York too. They just get to New York and
absolutely. And I love it's got my favorite New York City myth that should 100% be real, and that the sewers are flooded with toxic waste every night at midnight.
No, dude, and like it basically is. If you've ever been out of the New York subway system over midnight, you're like, that's kind of accurate. Like, also, I love that Jason showed up in Times Square and nobody gave a fuck. Just like they were like, this fucking dude, like back then, though. Right, they were like, this guy probably wants money. Like,
that's kind of my dream, though. Is like how they have Hello Kitty down there, and the
Elmo,
naked cowboy, and like all
Spider-Man.
That stuff. I just like to stand there and be like Jason Takes Manhattan with like a big fake machete and get pictures with it. Don't you think? Like I could make some cash doing that. Or do you have to be part of some union? Anyways, we'll talk about it. Anyways,
I'll say we were pretty psyched to have VC Dupree in our movie, who is in Jason Takes Manhattan, and has the most ridiculous kill in that.
It's one of the best ever.
100%.
And so and he brought I don't know if you probably saw, but he brought the head that was one of the heads that they used for
beautiful.
And because he was like, oh, do you want me to bring the head? And I'm like, yes, please. Like,
absolutely.
Head,
No, that's the top shelf kill in the series.
And you just got to give him credit, because he's like, we're going, man. All right. If you want to swap hands, I mean, I'll probably lose, but I'll.
It's like, we're on a roof. We're in Manhattan. Let's fucking do this.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. What's the difference between thriller and horror?
Oh, jeez.
You want me to go?
Thrillers?
You want to go?
You can go.
I think people are too hung up on worrying about genres and their sort of labels. So I sort of don't care. I'm happy to call anything horror. We kind of love we kind of love non-realism, is what we always say. Like, if something is not really like in the real world, like it can be grounded, but it's things that are not like really going to happen, then that tends to be what we're interested in movies, not really so much like drama and that kind of stuff.
I feel like thrillers are more like something could be realistic about
Something's more grounded. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And I agree.
The weirder the better for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think
you are with the best company?
What did you think of, this isn't one of the questions, but just to that, what did you think of Speak No Evil? Have you seen that?
No.
You dick.
It's just a very, anyways. So check it out. It won actually at the Fangoria. It's one of the Fangoria. The one that didn't.
Oh wait, is that that's not the Rasmussen one? No,
that was Unheard or something.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
It's the one about a couple that goes with a child that goes to visit another couple. They invite them to their cabin.
Okay.
It's zero fun. And it's very well done. Very well done. Zero fun.
Zero fun.
It's not a moment where you're like, this is all right. I feel good about this.
It's like, if you like levity in your movies, this one does not have any.
This one will take the levity out of like 6 of them.
It almost broke up the podcast, and I was so hurt by it. But then I don't know if you saw Beaten to Death. Same type of thing. No levity. Just brutal, and it's like my favorite movie. So who the fuck am I? All right, what horror influence what horror movie influenced your taste the most, Michael?
I have to say Phantasm.
Nice.
It's got like a little bit of everything. It's got the surrealism. It's got the the sort of allegorical elements. It's got just weird shit. And it's the kind of movie where you can watch it. I don't know how many times I've seen Phantasm, but every time I watch it, I'm like, have a new view on what the hell is happening in it, or how things fit together. And I feel like that's something that's fun for me, to be able to kind of like have a new experience every time I watch it. So Phantasm is the way to go.
I love that answer. Yeah. Sophia?
I feel like Event Horizon is the movie that fucked me up the most.
Maybe
that one.
You know what, Sophia, you and I are now best friends. I just want to say, you brought up stuff and Event Horizon, and if you know how much I love Event Horizon, like I just think Event Horizon is like, I think did I just recently, Graham, tell you that I like?
We were talking about.
I think I like it better than the Thing. Right here. I think I like it better than the Thing. And I love the Thing, sure. And I love the Thing, but Event Horizon is just such a great. I feel
like Sam Neill, even though he is a celebrated actor, he's not celebrated enough in horror somehow. Even though Possession and Mouth of Madness and Horizon, he should be one of our most venerated actors.
Exactly.
And, I feel like people don't ever talk about him.
That's
so good.
That actually speaks to how bad his Omen sequel was. They were just like, "I'm sorry, dude. We can't give you a pass."
That's fair. That's fair.
What was the movie that I just watched when he was super young? It was old. I think you told me to watch it.
It was Possession.
Was it Possession?
It was Possession.
It was Possession.
I love that movie. When he's in that rocking chair and they're zooming in and out.
So good.
Rules.
I loved it so much. Thank you. All right, those are great. Yeah, Jesus. I think for me it goes Alien and then Event Horizon and then The Thing. But Event Horizon is fucking unreal. I love it. If you could erase one movie from existence, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be horror. Sophia.
Gravity.
Oh, nice.
I'm down with that one.
It's I love sci-fi, but that movie is just look at how incompetent this woman is.
Movie.
And then an angel George Clooney. It's just so bad in so many levels.
Yeah.
Why didn't NASA send up a doctor? I don't know. It made me so angry the whole time.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I think I have a guess for yours.
You want to guess?
Mother?
Mother is it?
Yeah.
No kidding.
I really, really hate the Aronofsky film Mother. I don't really like Aronofsky in general, but Mother I feel like is the most hack bullshit movie ever, and I just think it's really boring and stupid, and he just rips off Buñuel films, and I don't know. Anyway, I hate it.
So I hate Aronofsky too, and I never meet anybody else who does. And I liked Requiem for a Dream when I first saw it, but now I watch it, and do you hate him because he can't write a character at all? Everything is just an archetype of another character. That his movies are vapid and faux art.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Faux deep.
He's really smart with them, and they're just not.
I like Pi, actually. I will say I think Pi is good, but I think it's good by accident. I think he lucked into making a good movie, and then everything after that pretty much. And some of them are okay. Black Swan is okay. I don't hate it. But everything I've seen of his, and I haven't seen everything. It feels like he thinks he's making an art masterpiece, and he's just not that sophisticated. It's it would be okay if he made kind of a basic movie and he believed he was making a basic movie, but that if you're Michael Bay and you're doing that, fine. But if you're Aronofsky, you think you're making the greatest art masterpiece ever with something important to say, and then look at the movie that actually comes out and fuck off. That's basically my feeling about it.
Yeah. Okay, everybody loved The Wrestler. And when I saw The Wrestler, I'm like, this movie sucks. Everybody,
giant wrestling fan, and
it was ass.
Yeah,
it was an ass movie.
Everything was he lived in a trailer. It was oh my god, who wrote?
Okay, but here's the thing. As a wrestling fan, I'll tell you, all that shit was realistic. It was just a shitty movie. It was literally realism. That was actually stuff that happened to multiple wrestlers during that time. It was just a very bad movie. Real quick though, have you seen Noah?
No.
Oh, the Bible one?
I can't do that. I can't bring myself to suffer.
I think I actually like that.
That's the
When I
thing.
saw
That's
it.
why I asked, because that is the most non-Aronofsky movie ever, but also at the same time, it is as stupid as his movies actually
but
are.
it was also based on the Bible, so I was like okay with that for some reason. It was like it was so big and ridiculous that I enjoyed it. I think.
It's Russell Crowe fighting golems, like stone golems in biblical times. Like it's like what the fuck?
I really like I am not religious, but I really have been finding myself loving like messed up religious. Not so much like nuns and like priests and exorcisms, but like real just fucked up stories about like that come from the Bible, but told like
the real.
Well, sort of like what was the knock at the cabin door or whatever?
Oh yeah, I need to
knock at the cabin and beaten to death and stuff like that.
The Jewish movie that we saw in the theater.
The
Offering,
the vigil.
Yeah,
that movie was creepy. Like it's so like rare to actually creep me out a little bit now because like I'm so jaded, and that movie actually creeped me out a bit.
100%.
Super creepy. Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I got sidetracked there and lost the list. All right. Wait. Did Michael say what he was going to erase?
Mother.
That's right.
It started a whole tangent.
That started the whole Aronofsky.
He's erasing Darren Aronofsky.
That's fine. Like Ryan did with Rob Zombie.
I just erased Rob Zombie.
Music and all. Are ghosts real?
Yes.
I love that it was that quick. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, like intellectually, no. Right. Emotionally, yes.
Sure.
I'm a straight no. Answer. I'm a straight no on that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I went to, and I told the story a lot, but I went to Loch Ness a few years back and took it's gorgeous, and then took a boat ride on it. And I don't believe in the Loch Ness monster, you know what I mean? Like there's but I looked for it the entire time. You know what I mean? I wanted to be so wrong. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and the fact that I have never seen a Bigfoot is like the worst thing that's ever, you know what I mean? So I just want to believe, you know what I mean? So,
Did you see there was a tweet going around recently that they think a new theory on Loch Ness is that it's a whale's penis? So they
that photo, the famous photos.
It's a floating whale dick.
Apparently, that's what it looks like.
Wow,
that's amazing.
It does. It does look like that.
This whole time.
My background's in science actually, and in statistics and sort of logic and everything. And I wrote a book called Bigfoot Does Not Exist. That's it's not really about Bigfoot. It's really about the principles of stats and science.
Sure.
But I in that I sort of talk a little bit about how I really wish all these things it's exciting to me, the idea that Bigfoot exists, but if you look at it, it's you have to actually look for evidence and evaluate the evidence and so on, and it just never works out. As a kid, all I did was read those aliens books and those time life mysteries of the unknown books. I never believed any of it, but I was obsessed with the Bermuda Triangle, Atlantis. I'm I don't think this is true, but it's I want it to be true. I want it so bad to be true, and I want to see evidence of it. Yeah.
I've always
actually I would like to read that book, so I will check it out.
Yeah, me too. I think I would like ghost horror more if I thought there were actual ghosts, and I want there to be so bad, but there would have to be rules at this point, because it would just be filled. There would just be ghosts everywhere, and so I don't know who would get to stay. And that's then you're getting into a weird territory where you get to choose which ghosts stay, and that's not cool.
As a skeptic, though, I got to tell you, I wish the Ouija board was more exciting. I wanted to be cool.
Yeah.
As a kid, when it moved, we all were oh, now it just doesn't. And I'm you know what? It would and then I'll try to ask differently, and I'm I don't even believe this. I know this isn't a real thing. So then you're I guess I just put the Ouija board away, or I'll put it on a shelf so I can be goth. Cool, because every year I threaten to go goth. Goth ska.
Oh,
Don't
that's
you
what I
dare.
need to get
Don't you
into.
dare.
All right. Graham.
And last one, Midsommar or Hereditary?
Midsummer, but you chop off the first 40 minutes.
Fair.
Open with them getting there. That's where it gets good.
I like the suicides at the beginning.
Ari Aster goes in my Aronofsky category where he thinks he's. I think he's
Well, we haven't seen the new one.
I haven't seen that. Yeah. I think he's good at. He's a good director and good at the craft of it. But I think he's a very bad writer, and I don't think either movie works for me at all.
Oh, you're gonna fucking hate Beau is Afraid then.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
I like the ending of Hereditary where it was just like, oh, we're not gonna have the girl. It's like, I don't know, it was like weird, and then and naked old people. I'm like, okay, but like, why is that scary?
We like naked old people.
Right.
Yeah. They did do it, like that shot with the tree post is really effective.
That's cool.
I give him props for that.
And I think and I bring this up every time. The shot with her head on the side of the road, and then ants on it for just to make it worse. They it's the finest disrespect. They're like, we'll just put ants on it. I mean, I don't I think that's I'm looking the rare. I like the end of Hereditary. I thought it was.
I like the head bashing. The head bashing in Midsummer is pretty great too. The way they jump off the cliff and then they smash their heads in.
That's Ryan's favorite part.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would actually go to something like Burning Man if we were throwing old people off cliffs. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But otherwise,
I might choose that option someday.
Yeah,
just get rid of the shitty old people. Just toss them off a cliff. That's fine.
There's plenty of them. Have you looked at them? Anyways, excellent job on the Sinister Six. Y'all killed it, of course.
And also, by the way, this is the first. I think this is the first true hot take that we've had on the last question. Seriously. And I'm like,
I think I haven't seen them before.
Sure.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
We're here for the hot takes if you need.
Love it.
I love it.
I do like the cinematography in Midsommar because I think daytime horror is really
super
hard
cool,
to do.
Yeah.
And, it is really beautiful and well shot.
Yeah. The craft is good. He's good at crafting. So I don't want to say I feel like Ari Aster is better at the craft of filmmaking than Aronofsky is. So I don't throw him all the way under the bus, I guess.
Okay, sure.
We look forward to his
I'll watch his movie. Aronofsky, I probably just won't watch any more of his movies, but Ari Aster, I'll probably go see all of it. I'll probably see Beau is Not Afraid or Still Afraid, whatever it is called. But I sort of expect it's probably not gonna really speak to me, but I'll watch it anyway because I'm curious about what he's doing.
I think Aster can write characters. Sorry.
Yeah. Just real quick on this, Michael. I think what's going to happen is I think you're going to watch it and I think you're going to appreciate it visually. And then by the time the 3-hour runtime is over, you're going to get up and you're going to break whatever is near you.
I do not like this new trend of movies being over 2 hours long.
Fuck no, neither do I.
Too much.
I don't know. Terrifier 2 pulled it off.
Okay.
Because that didn't feel like it was 2.5 hours long.
It didn't. Because it was just brutal the whole time. But I agree. Basically, every time I'm running through streaming, if it's over 130, if it's 85, I'm gonna watch it no matter what it says or what it looks like.
I've actually brought this up before. I'm a big fan of the novella. I read a lot and I love a novella. I think it's it's not a short story, it's not a full-length novel. I mean, I love full-length novels and short stories, but novellas 100 125 pages, fantastic. They're that second to third act is always clean. That's always where things get lost, is in that second to third act. And so I think hour-long movies are fantastic.
Bring them in.
Why isn't hour 10 movies? I know that's kind of what we get on Black Mirror or something like that. But I don't think it's a bad idea to have a shorter films. I don't know.
Hosts is a great example of it working.
Yeah. Yep. When the movie's finished, the movie's finished.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to fucking be. You don't have to stretch the time.
Right. Endzone 2. Fucking an hour long. It didn't even need the last 30 minutes.
There's been a lot of speculation what's on that last reel.
I bet.
It's just a sequel to the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Yeah. We've had so many people. That away. Yeah, we've had so many people be like, "Oh, did you shoot the last section of it?" And then not included, or the movie is It's done in 60 minutes. It's like,
Right.
we don't need.
One of the actors is convinced that she didn't die.
Yeah.
Anastasia, who she gets bashed in with the football on the stairs, and
Yeah.
she's like, "There's no reason I died there. I can be in the last 30 minutes."
It's like to be in the sequel.
Yeah.
So, awesome. All right, it's recommendation time. What do you got this week, Jonas?
Okay, so I don't have any music this week because I've been listening to a bunch of music that I've already recommended, but I'm going to do some physical media recommendations. The first one is a movie I'm happy I have in my collection now, and I also let my friend borrow it to fuck their day up, and it was Ichi the Killer, which is one of my favorite, particularly brutal Asian horror films. Probably one of my favorites just because the acting is good. It's a very awesome movie as far as like a brutal horror film goes from beginning to end. Also want to showcase this one here. This is the Donnie Darko Arrow video set, which is really cool. It's a 4K set. It's got like a really cool media book on the inside of it as well. Super cool hard case. Like when you guys were talking about doing the Blu-ray thing, that's right up my alley. I collect home media now, so I'm way into that.
I'm gonna get one of those.
Yeah, 1000%. As far as movies on streaming goes, honestly, they're like everything that's on streaming right now, as far as like stuff on Shudder goes and everything, is stuff that we've already recommended, which is not a bad thing. Like there's just a lot of awesome stuff on Shudder right now, and also Screambox is really pulling out some cool shit. Like they kind of Terrifier kind of was the one that Terrifier 2 was the one that kind of made people realize that Screambox was even a thing. And Screambox is pretty awesome for about the same price as Shudder, if not a little bit less. So more horror, support them both. Like absolutely pick up a Screambox subscription. They've got an app on all of the different things too. And they do a lot of like really old school like hidden gem type movies too. Stuff that you would not even think would ever be on streaming. So absolutely check them out as well.
Is the app new?
The app is newish. Yeah, it's pretty new. The app came out pretty much right when Terrifier 2 came out of the theater circuit. So
right, because there was no app. I had to watch it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll check.
Yeah. No, it is good. It's it's good to mention that because it is. You can get it on like Roku and Xbox and all sorts of stuff. But
Xbox might be the.
Yeah, and it's a good service. Like they're putting together.
It is.
They really are putting together some cool stuff. And also, if I remember correctly, it's now owned by Bloody Disgusting, which is nice. Even fucking better because
that's going to help. Yeah,
they know their stuff. So
get some shit in
there. That's my recommendations this time.
Graham.
All right. Yeah. I just got all right. So just music basically this week. Lambrini Girls, You're Welcome EP. It's a bunch of British women just celebrating queerness and calling out and destroying dickbag dudes with high energy punk. It's fucking awesome.
Love all that.
And Kesha's new album Gag Order is really good.
Shit.
I'm a big fan. She even gets into some like Skinned type stuff on one of the songs. I really dug it. And then for you can watch on YouTube. Go on YouTube and watch Meet Friend. It's a short. Yeah. And it was nominated, so I decided to go watch some of the shorts. Meet Friend is fantastic. Go check it out. It's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or something. It's awesome.
Do you know that we're involved with that?
Did you know?
No.
Oh yeah.
What?
I did all the posts on it, and worked with Sophia was a cinematographer, and
yeah. A, that's fucking rad. B, that shows how bad I am at research.
Watching the credits.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we were heavily involved. We were the whole crew pretty much on that movie. So
that's amazing.
Fucking rules. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, sentient meat. Cool. Yeah, like a little girl hamburgers and meat hamburgers. Yeah. Microwaves a hamburger.
It's fucking fantastic.
And it goes haywire.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. Well, cool. You got it. Is that it, Graham?
Yeah. That's
Do you have anything else you want to suggest that they've done?
No, why?
I do like that you watched 5 minutes of a movie and you're like, that's enough. I'm not going to watch the credits.
Right. I suggested this last week, but I'm going to suggest it again because I watched it again. I'm going to suggest Blood. If you haven't seen Blood, it's made by Brad Anderson, and I didn't realize that when I saw it because I didn't watch the credits. And he also made like Session 9, and which I think is just a really
one of the best.
It's just a really fucking great movie. It actually made me like what's his name, CIS Miami guy,
red hair.
He's red hair. That dude, like I was like he's so rad in this. And
then
of course,
movie with Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never remember his name.
And then somehow I slept on Bloody Hell.
Oh,
and and Bloody Hell was just so fantastic. How did fucking you all let me get this far?
I told you.
I also told you. I suggested it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Oh well,
that's true.
I don't really listen when other people.
He doesn't do his research either.
That movie rules.
That movie rules too. But if I'm going to say, I was really surprised by this. I watched Let the Wrong One In, and has everybody seen that?
I haven't.
So like, I thought it was just going to be like a really stupid like slapstick like just because of the name, but it's not. It's actually like an Irish vampire movie. Anthony Head, Giles returns as a vampire slayer. He doesn't go by Giles or anything, but like it's Anthony Head doing more vampire slaying, which I'm pro, and it's an Irish movie, and it's super fucking fun vampire flick, and it's super good. I think the name gave it like this, like you think it's going to be like another scary movie sort of thing, but it's not like that at all. It's actually just cool. I mean, it's a horror comedy, but it's not.
I mean, it was in my queue because of that.
Yeah,
I thought it was like that.
Yeah, but it's actually really good. It's Irish, and supporting we have we got Irish listeners. We love y'all. So please check out Let the Wrong One In. Like I was actually kind of blown away by how like fun it was. I mean, it's ridiculous and absurd, but like it's just a fun horror movie. So
love it.
So so check that out. And in music, just listen to ska. Okay, just listen to ska. Anyways, all right, y'all, take us out.
Nice. I always just recommend The Devil's Rain because I love Shatner and Scorecard and like melting people.
So good.
It just reminded me, and it's not like a new release; it's from the 70s, obviously.
Right.
No, that's fine.
It reminded me of Physical Media, and I got to work on the new Arrow 4K release for Naked Lunch. So I shot the interview with Peter Weller, and that just came out, and they included like an hour of the interview that I did, and it was really awesome. He talked about like everything from everything about the movie and his own life, and it just went on and on. It's so good. So I recommend that. I don't get any residuals on it, so but promoting me, but I'm saying it's good.
Sure, but do you like getting up every day going like, wow, I'm super fucking cool? like I am doing cool shit. Like I
feel very lucky. Yeah.
Yes, you're doing very cool shit.
I get to do cool stuff. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Am I?
Yeah, you're allowed to say something.
I have to make the recommendations now. We had seen before, and we recently rewatched this movie called Anguish. Have you all seen the movie Anguish?
Oh yeah.
I
don't think so.
Died, right?
He just died. Yeah, Michael Lerner just died, who is the kind of the star of Anguish. I don't want to say too much about it. It's a very layered movie. Zelda Rubinstein, Michael Lerner, and it's like one of the most weird, fucked up movies I've ever seen. So from 80, maybe 87. And if you have the chance to see it in a movie theater, because movie theaters play a role in it, I think it makes it a doubly insane experience. But even if you're watching at home, I think it's a really, really awesome, worthwhile movie. And I would definitely recommend checking it out for anyone who likes like especially weird horror and kind of like surreal horror. I think it's probably one of the best kind of modern surreal horror movies.
So awesome. Sweet. Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for coming. But you both are wicked cool. Seriously. Like you throw out like, I wrote this book about one of the questions we had, and then you're like, I was working on on the Fangoria Awards and on the Arrow 4K release, and I'm like,
didn't meet friend.
Can one?
That's so funny that you just randomly mentioned me.
Can you all like? Can I just like move in? I'm not clean or anything, but I'll do my best.
As long as you can cuddle chihuahuas.
Totally. I'm big time.
Me and Ryan are both like human Tempur-Pedic mattresses, so we can cuddle the shit out of the dog.
They'll love it. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, and thanks everybody for listening in. Let's go down the things. The United States still in the first place. UK, you're killing it. You keep going up. UK, Canada number 3, which is moving up. New Zealand still ahead of Australia. I mean, I love you. You know what I mean? But New Zealand's still ahead. Right? I mean, I know how you feel about that. Germany, actually get like a thing. We're high up on the Germany chart. So everybody listens to us in Germany and Sweden. Thank you so much for doing it. Turks and Caicos, India. A lot of listeners in India, Mexico. The fact that people are listening to me in Mexico, just listen to us talk about this stuff makes my heart warm. I love Mexico, Netherlands, France, Puerto Rico, Taiwan, Brazil, and Ireland. You guys are all the absolute best. Thank you so much for everybody globally who listens to us, and please take care of yourself. We have a Patreon. Please go out there. You can even just do $1 appreciation Patreon. $1, and if 500 of you, 100 is like if. Like 1,000 of you wacky Germans just threw that $1 or
franc or whatever it is. Deutschmark.
Deutschmark. If you threw us all one Deutschmark, I don't even know how much that is. I'm just guessing it's one. We would be really, really stoked.
It's the most American thing ever. I don't even know how much your fucking currency is. It's just one.
We're such losers.
All right, Graham, read off the Army of the Goddamn and let's get out of here.
I got it right here. It's Jason Daniels, Jake Jolly, Ron Kanaba, Kristen Pearl, Manny Velasquez, Coleman Rosenberg, Drew Muldowney, Stephanie Gurley, Katie Viking, Chris Fortune, Alan Graham, Bacon Bits the Cat, Angela, and Jasmine Pettit.
It's just the best ever. Thank you all so much for taking part in what we do here. Be back again next week-ish, when we do this. And thank you all for what you do. Please take care of yourself. We all need to do this together. If you're struggling, please, you can always reach out to us. We will respond on our social media, and or please just get yourself the help you need and stay ahead of it, and please take care of yourself because we need you around. So thank you all so much for being here, and start some fires and break some glass. Thank you.